Everyone thinks that that shit is fiction, but I mean, look at how our world is going. Terrifying. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I hope to read in October. Obviously October is spooky season. I already had my first set of Halloween nows. I did them like a week ago because I was like, I'm ready for the Halloween and spooky spirit, and I want to carry that through with my reading as well because the nights are getting darker, the days are getting chillier, and I'm just feeling in the mood for some dark and spooky books. So without further ado, here are the books that I hope to read in October. It's ambitious, by the way. I'm a slow reader, but this is ambitious. Now the first four books I'm going to mention them consecutively because they are all part of the same series. Now, even if I don't get through all of these in October, I'm definitely going to carry them on throughout November or just possibly throughout December as well, because this is definitely a series that I plan to finish at some point, and that is The Darkest Mind series by Alexandra Bracken. I do have the other three books in the series with me as well. However, I'm not going to talk through those because I haven't even read the first book yet. Now, you might be thinking, why is this on your October spooky reads list? That is because it is a dystopian, and I feel like dystopian is the perfect genre for spooky season because dystopian books are just terrifying. Like, although they almost seem fictional, in some ways they can almost seem non-fictional. For instance, The Handmaid's Tale. Everyone thinks that that shit is fiction, but I mean, look at how our world is going. Terrifying. So essentially this book takes place in a dystopian America where there has been a disease that has ravaged the whole country and a lot of people died. However, Ruby and a bunch of other kids emerged from this disease with superpowers. Now Ruby's parents decide to send her off to a rehabilitation camp where she can try and learn to suppress her powers. However, that might not need to be the case. In fact, Ruby might need to harness her powers to save the world, is what I'm guessing is going to happen. And I'm going to guess that these rehabilitation camps are actually evil. Not a spoiler alert, I'm just guessing that's how that's going to go. Now, I've never actually seen the adaptation for this. I believe it has the girl in it that was in the Hunger Games, I think. You know, the girl who played Rue. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's got her in it, but I've never watched the film. I always really wanted to pick up the series and I just never did when it was popular. And I wouldn't mind, but I love dystopian. Dystopian is probably still one of my favourite genres. Obviously this is a young adult, but do you know what? Even though it's an oldie, it might be a goodie because I read the Vampire Academy series, I think last year, and I really loved that series. So I'm really hoping this is going to be another of those YA gems that I just have never managed to pick up and I'm really going to enjoy. But I'm really hoping that I can get through these in October. If I don't, obviously I'll carry it through. If I don't want to read them back to back, then I'll just kind of split it up and read the rest of them in another month. But this is a goal for me this month. I want to at least read the first book. So then the next book that I have on my TBR for October is actually one that I bought the other day. Obviously I don't really buy that many physical books anymore. I have my own reasons for that. I just don't have the room for physical books right now, and also I just feel like it became a little bit of a problem for me because I had nowhere to put them. I just felt really overwhelmed. So I really don't buy physical books unless it's from an author that I really love or I need the next book in the series. However, I kept seeing this book everywhere. I've heard nothing but good things about this author, and this book was just too pretty not to own, and that book is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is the same author that wrote The Poppy War, which is actually on my Kindle and I just haven't picked it up yet. Now what I've heard is that some people not necessarily didn't like The Poppy War, but like thought it was just okay, but they've loved this book, and then I've heard that people loved The Poppy War and they loved this. I just really want to give this author's books a go because I've heard nothing but good things. And this is also a dark academia book, which is a genre that I haven't really ever gotten into. Now, it's a genre that I do want to get into because I'm a lover of, you know, books that take place in private schools or kind of like secret societies, elite societies. Like, I'm into all of that stuff, so I feel like dark academia should be something that I'm into or get into. but I just haven't found that one yet. I read The Secret History, or I tried to read The Secret History maybe 2-3 years ago, and I ended up DNFing it because I just didn't like it that much. I found it a little bit boring, and it was one that I was really excited to read because a lot of people had really good things to say about it. It just wasn't for me. So I'm really hoping that this one is one that I'm going to enjoy, and also just look how beautiful this is. Oh, it's stunning. Like, even the American editions that I've seen are really pretty. But yeah, super excited for this one. It actually takes place in Oxford, and I believe the author actually studied there at one point, so she knows her stuff. So I actually don't really know much about this book, so I'm just going to give you guys the description that I've got from Waterstone. So it reads, Oxford 1836, the city of dreaming spires. It is the centre of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its centre is Babel, the Royal Institute of Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Babel seemed like paradise to Robin Swift, until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? That sounds so freaking good. Like, it just tells you a little snippet of what you need to know. You know, like how trailers sometimes give everything away and you're like, well, I don't need to see the film now. This is the complete opposite of that. I need to know what Babel is. I need to know, and it better be bloody good. Do you know what, I haven't even got an idea whether this is a standalone or a duology or a series. I just bought this book because it was pretty and everyone was talking about it because I'm a sucker for capitalism. So that's Babel. That is a book that I'm hoping to read this month. It sounds dark, it sounds epic, and I'm really hoping I love this because everyone has really good things to say about this author's writing, and I hope it's true. Now, the last book that I'm hoping to read in October, now bear in mind this has already been ambitious. Last month I read 2 books. How I expect myself to get through all of that, I do not know, but I still have one more book on my list. So that book is Ring Shell by P. Jelly Clark. This is classed as a dark, I would say, historical fantasy. The minute I read the description of this, it went on my anticipated reads for, I believe, this year, I think it was. But anyway, I'll read the description for you because it does sound really epic. In America, demons wear white hoods. In 1915, the birth of a nation cast a spell across America, swelling the clan's ranks and drinking deep from the darkest thoughts of white folk. All across the nation they ride, spreading fear and violence among the vulnerable. They plan to bring hell on earth, but even Ku Kluxes can die. Standing in their way is Maurice Boudreaux and her fellow resistant fighters, a foul-mouthed sharpshooter and a Harlem hellfighter. Armed with blade, bullet and bomb, they hunt their hunters and send the clan's demons straight to hell. But something awful's brewing in Macon, and the war on hell is about to heat up. Can Maurice stop the clan before it ends the world? I think this book sounds epic. I think that the idea of bringing history and turning it into kind of a fantasy sounds really cool. Obviously, the Ku Klux Klan is such a dark topic, and I think they're still around, right? Like, how the fuck are they still around? Like, aren't they virtually a terrorist organisation? Like, that's how I'd view that shit. I'm sorry, like, that in the 21st century, that's not right. Like, I don't know how that's not illegal, but, you know, America. But this book is by an author of colour. I am also gonna go out on a whim and state the obvious and say that the characters are also of colour as well. I just think this book sounds epic, and I definitely feel like it's a good one to read this month because it sounds dark and epic as hell, and I cannot wait to see what happens in this book. It's quite a short one. I believe it's only under 200 pages, so maybe it's doable this month, but it's definitely one I want to read. All of the reviews that I've read say really amazing things about it, and I'm really hoping it's good because it sounds epic. So those are all of the books that I'm hoping to read in October and beyond, apparently. Whether I get through them or not is another matter, but hopefully I managed to get through most of them. Do let me know in the comments what you guys are planning to read this spooky season. Have you got any spooky books on your TBR? Do let me know below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.